I've had this as my background the entire time.
Is it on your wallpaper for your laptop as well?
No, it's just the theme for my Chrome. So it's the bit where they're standing at the bus stop when it's raining.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've had that honestly like 10+ years.
That's a great.
So we'll have to go with Totoro, I guess, to be my favourite one.
Fair.
Dude, the cat bus, everything about it is just perfect.
Oh, the cat bus. They have a bus in Spirited Away, don't they? Maybe it's just a normal bus, I can't remember.
Yeah, I feel like Spirited Away is the one that everyone has seen. They can go, oh, Studio Ghibli, Spirited Away. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was my first one, so it kind of opened up my world.
I want to say Totoro is my first one.
I've watched Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, classic.
That's good.
I'd say the one I've seen: Castle in the Sky, Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Tales of the Earthsea, Ponyo, and that's it. I've still got like half of them to watch.
Yeah, I'm debating which of the new ones is worth watching.
How is that? I'm not sure. I think right. So I'm now looking at like scores.
Yeah.
And they like most of them have above 90.
Jesus.
Apart from like 2 or 3 which have one has 78, one has 85. But Tales from Earthsea has 43. How is that even possible? It's probably one of the best ones. Oh, that's so weird. How did it not do that well?
Is that Metacritic?
Yeah.
Huh.
So there's weird. Metacritic and then whatever RT stands for. I'm not really sure what that stands for.
Rooster Teeth?
Weird, no. Why did that? Yeah, Metacritic got 47. How? That blows my mind. I couldn't imagine giving anything that Studio Ghibli's done under a 70.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's insane.
Yeah. So how have you been, mate?
Been really good.
Good. You sound good.
I had one of those moments again. You know when you told me to have a break after Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
I kind of had to have that again.
Sure.
For like a day or two.
Do you think you're sprinting? You're
it's like a mixture. It's a mixture of marathon and sprint at the same time. Like it's a marathon because I'm doing lots of the same thing, but I'm also sprinting because I'm trying to get it done quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting it done quickly because I'm not enjoying it, the story or the gameplay. It's just because I have this thing where I get really anxious about like finishing games. Yeah. Like, if I don't finish a game quickly, it sort of like makes me like really jittery and panicked.
You like to tick it off the list, right? I mean,
that's mostly what it is, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, mate. Imagine Red Dead 2 right now is giving me nightmares, mate.
Yeah, go on. I don't know. I have no idea about this, so you need to explain it to me.
All right, so yeah, as some of you may know, I'm trying to get all the achievements for Red Dead 2. I've got them down to 3 single player ones. So there's 2 which is skinning and studying every animal in the game. Okay. That's just a test of patience.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the Florida panther to spawn at the moment. So if it doesn't spawn, I have to reload the save. And it just takes ages, mate. It just takes ages. So you can listen to podcasts and stuff while you do most of the animals. I can't for the panther because I need to hear where it is. Otherwise, it's an instant kill for me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just doing that, and then I'm not.
Just really quick? Have you come across one and it's killed you instantly?
Yes.
Oh god, dude, I'd hate that. That would really aggravate me.
Mate, it's not a Florida one. Sorry, no, a normal panther.
A normal one. But, panther. So you haven't come across a Florida one at all?
So I killed one like at some point during my playthrough.
You just didn't realise about skinning it or whatever, right? Okay.
Or studying it, yeah. Well, the thing is, because they jump at you, the trick is you've got to weaken them without killing them, and there's only a few weapons that do that, and that's a poison arrow. Okay. So you've either got to study it before it sees you, which is hard, or you've got to hit it with a poison arrow. And by the way, arrows take way longer than guns, so if you miss, you are dead. And then it'll be like on the floor, kind of like, immobile, and then I'll study it like that. Okay. But for the most part, Yeah, haven't seen
one. So it's like a mixture of skill and luck at this point, then. Yeah?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Okay.
And there's so many animals in this, mate. There's no way. It's no way near the ease of the hunting in Red Dead 1.
See, I was going to say that was quite difficult to me. Just even the hunting that was in 1, I was like, oh, it takes too much time.
This is another level, mate. Okay. This is a whole nother level.
Okay.
So yeah, and then there's one achievement. Sorry, there's 4 achievements. There's one achievement for getting 70 gold medals in story missions.
Yeah, I remember you saying you're stuck on one, aren't you? Or have you got past that?
I did it. I did it.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Thank you for remembering. Yeah. So I'm going through the story missions. I can't tell you, Jay, how amazing the acting is on this game. It drives my entire it drives my entire playthrough of getting all these gold medals, because every time I'm like reminded of all these missions that I've done and story beats and emotional beats that I might have missed, and it's just fantastic. The main painstaking aspect is, again, I did another mission today about 3 times and I can't get the gold medal, so it's like, a small hump in the road.
But you're getting close or no?
I've done about
is it a score-based system, or is it like certain things that have to be done in the mission?
Certain things have to be done in the mission.
But you're not able to do those things, or what? You're doing it, but not well enough. What's the?
You got to do them all in one playthrough.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, even if I've got 2 of 4, it's not like I can go back and just get the other 2. I need to get all 4 in one playthrough.
Okay.
So the one I'm struggling with at the moment is getting 10 kills in Deadeye, which is easy-ish. But my teammates are killing the enemies before I can kill them.
You say teammates, you mean like AI-driven teammates?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I've had that problem with certain games before, where there's like maybe a challenge you have to do, like to be able to get like a certain amount of XP or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like it's only in a mission where you're surrounded with other people who are helping you, but you can't get enough of those kills because the other people are killing them too quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hate that.
Yeah, it's really annoying. While you're like, oh great, the AIs work, you're also like, stop.
Yeah, exactly. You're so appreciative that the AI is actually good, but then again you're like, don't stop working, please just break or something.
Exactly. So I'm sure it'll be fine, but yeah, it's a slow process. Okay. And the last one is the 100%. So that'll be finishing all the challenges, and I've done a hell of a lot of them this week.
Okay. So how many more have you got to go?
I've got about 10 more challenges to do.
How many are there? Like
90.
Oh, okay, 90. That's not bad.
The last few I've left the worst till last, to be fair.
What's the worst, then?
I've got to find every single plant. I've got to fish every type of fish.
And I've got to do all... suck. Dude, I'll tell you what. There's actually one game that I don't mind the fishing in, and that's Final Fantasy 15.
Really?
It's actually quite fun, yeah.
Okay.
You kind of have to do it for an achievement, but yeah.
Sure. I saw the fishing's an aspect of that game.
Yeah.
Why is it fun?
I think that's weird. Like fishing mechanics, I think are super important when it comes to it.
And
I think just the way it lets you like cast and like reel in is actually quite like makes like a mini game out of it. It's quite fun.
Is there any aspect of waiting in the mini game?
Like the tiniest amount, not even like
really?
you wait, but it's very like it's not a boring wait. It's
minimal.
Like it's very minimal. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah, and then sorry for boring you, by the way, Jay. I know I've talked about this a lot.
No, you're not. So I'm not in the world at the minute, but every time we talk about it, it reminds me of how I kind of miss it a little bit. So, but I don't miss the fact that I don't want to bother. Like have to do what you're doing right now. All I want to do is tell the story, and that's it. That's all I want to do.
This is worse than Skyrim. I'll say that.
What you mean, like in your passion to want to get it done?
Correct. Okay. Correct.
Well, at least you've got Skyrim out of the way. Like,
yeah, 100%. And look, I can't overstate how much progress I've made this week and last week. Like, I got like 4 achievements, and like getting killed. You have to kill 18 grizzly bears after they attack you. So that's like 2 hours. I had to get a $250 bounty in every state and survive for 3 days. That's another like hour. So I've definitely made a lot of done like most of the challenges, done like 60 challenges. So I've done a lot of progress, but yeah, it's tedious, mate, and it's kind of like what you were saying, where I'm like, I get up and I'm like, do a few chores, and I'm like, oh, do I want to play Red Dead? And then I load it up and I'm like, yeah, I really want to play this game. And then after like 5 animals later of hunting, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of bored now.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
Yes, and the main thing I want to talk to you about was that there are some online achievements, Red Dead Online achievements.
Yeah, that's what I was interested in, actually.
Right, yeah. So I didn't know this, Jay. GTA Online really popular. Red Dead Online also extremely popular. Red Dead Online also popular. And if you don't know, Rockstar is one of the, if not the richest gaming company in the world right now, or at least Take-Two is.
It's up there. It's up there.
Because GTA 5 is ultimately the biggest game ever, and Red Dead Online is broken, and I didn't know this. So they've put out many updates, a significant update a few months ago, if not a year ago, which adds roles to the game, and I'll talk about them later if you want.
Yeah.
But essentially, the game's broken. Every time we get in a server, it's a matter of time until the camp doesn't spawn, which, FYI, is essential to me and my posse's plan at the moment.
Okay.
So we're all like really low level. We need as much money as possible. We need to get better guns. We need to get better horses. We need to get better everything, and that means we need to get money. And I'm now doing the trader role, which is one of those 4 roles I was talking about. And that means that we can all go hunting in the nearby area. They drop off stuff. I trade it into the trading guy, and we make deliveries, and we get lots of money, basically. Okay. And it's really cool. Like, I can't emphasize how cool it is that I can make a camp in like the snowy mountains. All 4 of us can just go our separate ways, hunt different animals, come back to the camp, and like that is the activity. And that is literally like a dream come true for someone who has, cowboy fantasies, I guess.
I was going to say, you get to live that. Like, it's a little bit like you can compare it to the Star Wars aspect of like becoming a Jedi, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, no, I get you.
And it's like, it really is fulfilling that to an amazing degree. Who would have thought that you would ever be able to do this with your friends? And then, we get hunting, and then animals will stop spawning, and basically the server crashes. Like, the animals stop spawning, the camp won't spawn, you can't play any missions, and you have to go to another server for it to eventually happen again and again, unless you're lucky. So I said to the guys, I looked it up online, I was kind of like looking through, seeing if there's any solutions. The only solution I could find is to do a bounty mission, because that puts you in a new server. You can't manually make a private server, so that's great. So...
okay.
So there's no way to manually solve the issue apart from accepting a bounty mission, which sometimes won't work because the server's broken.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. I wonder whether GTA Online has similar issues still.
Well, from what I hear, it doesn't.
See, that's what annoys me, because if Rockstar can get GTA 5 working correctly, why can't they get Red Dead 2 working correctly? Like, exactly. I'd say the only reason why they aren't fixing it right now is obviously because of what the world's going through right now, obviously, right? So
sure,
there's going to be constraints on stuff.
Yeah, more people playing than ever, possibly.
Yeah, there's going to be more people playing with less people working, able to fix problems if there are any, right? So it's like it's 100% the problem, right? But the thing is, were these issues still around before this all kicked off?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? Whether it's like a new problem or is it an old problem that's just been around forever?
From the Reddit threads that I read, they were fairly recent. Okay. So I don't know.
It's also probably like worth knowing whether or not GTA 5 ever had these issues and they got fixed within a certain time frame, or
GTA 5 Online or GTA Online definitely had issues at launch, without question.
Yeah, no, I remember playing it. I think I stuck around just long enough to maybe play it for like a couple of days when it first came out, and then I was like, yeah,
sure.
And yeah, it wasn't great.
And the roles they've so here's the thing, Jay. It's like, I'm hoping it wasn't broken before this, because then you think, so you updated the online with some really interesting content, but it's still broke. Like, wouldn't you fix it first and then update it? Maybe the update broke it. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna have to do some research in this. I'm annoyed at myself. I'm annoyed sometimes. Like I like to know the information about things before I like diss it in any way or like get annoyed at it. It makes me. I'm annoyed at myself for not knowing what it takes to fix these kind of problems.
Sure.
I don't know what it takes. Does it take like do they have to actually come up with an idea to be able to fix it, or do they know how to fix it already? But it just takes time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the the process is. So
and
I think if I knew it, it'd be a lot better.
I completely agree. If I knew all the details, I probably wouldn't be frustrated at all.
No, because you could understand where they're coming from then, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But unfortunately, I doubt we'll ever get that much transparency from a company.
That's what's annoying. Right? I feel like transparency is kind of important when it comes to that stuff because you don't really. I mean, that's what I like about feedback. Actually, I love how some devs take bad feedback and still make good out of it. Or like when I say bad feedback, I mean good feedback that it's said in maybe like a harsh way.
Sure.
Like there's people online who say obvious things that need to be fixed, but they say them not in a nice way. They say them like, "Oh, why isn't this working?"
Yeah, and I think Borderlands 3 is a perfect example of that. Right. People absolutely, mate. People complaining that you can't turn off the Halloween seasonal event. So then the next seasonal event, they put in a button which says you can turn it off. Like they are so good at not only listening and acting on feedback, but telling us all every single patch note. Like, dude, I'm not joking here, right? I looked up the Red Dead 2 patch notes for the latest patch and I couldn't find them. The only thing I could find is Reddit threads or random blog and sites. Well, I went on the Rockstar website and it wouldn't load.
Oh.
So,
that's really weird. Yeah, I feel like patch notes are very important, aren't they?
100%. I just wanted to know what was fixed and stuff. So... and I also wanted to find out what single player content they put in, because they put in like a few bounty missions and stuff, nothing major. And I just wanted to see what it was so I can access it. But essentially, I've been a bit heartbroken by that because I had no idea the Red Dead Online was broken. I never heard any significant issues, any stories, so I just assumed it was fine to then try and get these achievements with my posse crew, and it's going to be a struggle. Going from the last few days, it's going to be a real struggle. I basically said to my mates, I was like, yeah, guys, I'm not going to play Red Dead Online until it's fixed, and I'll know when it's fixed because it'll be on my Google News feed. And then my mates last night were like, Nick, let's just give it a go again. And I was like, fine, I'm happy to give it a try. And to be fair, we had a great time. Nothing was broken until about 3 hours after we started. But I'm a bit miffed about that. So, but that's all I've been playing, really.
Tell you what, you mentioned it a second ago just about Borderlands 3 really quick. Yeah. I'm so impressed with the new update.
Well, let's talk about it then.
Yeah, because I've been playing that. I literally just came off it like before we started this.
Okay.
I played it probably like 2 or 3 hours last night while I listened to a podcast, and then again a few hours this morning. I'm just like fiddling around with the Mayhem mode like thing.
Yeah.
And God, it's so convenient. Like it's just so much nicer to be able to re-roll like all the
different buffs
stuff, man, and it feels so rewarding. Like getting I'm either on Mayhem 4, 5, or 6, and I'm getting legendaries consistently, like really consistently, and they're usually much better versions than the ones I already have. So I'm fulfilled right now when it comes to Borderlands, and I'm able to survive too. I very rarely die on 6.
So this new update, the thing you're taking away from it the most is the new Mayhem 2.0.
Yeah, I'd say Mayhem 2.0 is probably one of the best things to happen to Borderlands in a while.
And so it's not only updating Mayhem, so you can go from not just 1 to 4, but now 1 to 10. But it's also meaning you can manually change the different effects that are happening, or re-roll them.
You can re-roll them, so you get a random one. But you can do it infinite amount of times until you're happy with what you get.
That's amazing.
Oh, dude.
And so also the legendaries you're farming for. So you're farming for level 57 ones. Is this in the main campaign, these legendary loots?
Yeah, so what they've done is they've added, I think, 6 or 7 new legendaries that are only available on Mayhem 6.
I see. Right. Tied to specific bosses.
6 and above, yeah. And I think they're tied to specific bosses, but Yeah, there's type specific bosses. Yeah. And two of them are easy, and the rest are quite hard. I've got the two easy ones. Just the hard ones I haven't even tried to attempt yet. I'm going to attempt it later.
So are they hard because they're actually hard bosses on?
Yeah, they're
Mayhem
like
6?
harder bosses. I'd say the easy ones are Captain Traun and General Traun or whatever. They're the easy ones because they die within seconds. What I have found though, I have a weapon now that weirdly, this amazes me, right? There's a new radiation rocket launcher that drops from the new Cartel event.
Yeah.
That is just broken. Like, it does so much damage.
I think I got that.
Yeah, you need to use it. Honestly, I can kill almost every boss between 3 and 6 shots.
Jesus.
It's just so convenient. And I think it actually works better with my character because I've got Mose, who's like splash damage and area of effect damage.
Didn't they nerf Mose quite a bit, mate, in the last update?
Yeah, it's still too powerful though.
Really?
Yeah, it's still very powerful. Like, I'm still finding it so nice.
Wow.
She's still definitely my favourite character.
What did you think of the Cartel event, mate?
Yeah, I'm liking it. It's very simple. It literally is just redoing the same mission over and over again.
Yeah, sure. And it's like the previous seasonal events, which is go out in the world,
go in the world, find
enemies.
these 30 drops.
Yeah.
Go back to the area, kill the boss, come back, do more drops, and
So are you motivated to repeat, do this mission over and over to get all of the unique rewards?
Done it maybe 4 or 5 times now.
Okay.
And I think I've gotten, it's weird, I'm getting more of certain legendaries more often than others, which I'm annoyed about. I haven't got most of them. I think I've only actually had 3 of them drop.
So you're not doing it for the unique rewards tied to the seasonal event. You're more bothered about legendaries.
Yeah, 100%. Although the challenges to be able to get the unique rewards are too difficult. I found they're like very, like, you'd need a full party of people to like even attempt some of them.
I agree, and some of them are really time consuming.
I think I've only finished 3, so I've managed to get the unique Echo like skin. That's it so far. So
okay, and the new legendaries tied with the seasonal event, the cartels, and the new legendaries to do with Mayhem 6, are those different things?
Say that again, sorry.
So the legendaries tied with Mayhem 6 and the legendaries tied to the cartel event, are they different things?
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, there's new legendaries in the main campaign on Mayhem 6.
Yep.
But then, are there unique legendaries on Mayhem 6 in the cartel event as well?
No,
or is
so
that
they drop at any Mayhem mode.
Okay, fine.
I'm pretty sure because I've had a few of them. So what I found is I can do Mayhem 4 comfortably with mobs, but I can't do Mayhem 6 with mobs. So I can't like go through an area on 6 by myself, but I can on 4. So I've done all the cartel stuff on 4, and I'm still getting the unique legendary drops. So.
And this is where crossplay would be great because I could then help you farm something.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I swear, didn't we talk about this before? There was definitely a PC crossplay with the previous Borderlands, wasn't there? But there wasn't. So? I don't think there was Xbox and PlayStation crossplay.
No, I don't think so.
Which they need. So honestly, the day they bring that out is the day I'll be happy with Borderlands.
Dude, that is. I'm telling you, the fact that Call of Duty is unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm now Googling to see if there's any amount of news about it.
Well, what are your overall thoughts, Jay, on the cartel event? And
yeah, I like the aesthetic. I like the boss. The boss battle is quite fun. I'm finding it very easy just because of how powerful my build is right now. Like, my build is the best it could possibly be. I literally can't do any more damage. Like, I'm sort of maxing out damages and the amount of damage I can take and stuff like that. So, yeah, for me to be able to go any higher, I'd need to do it with other people for me to improve any amount.
Would you be interested in teaming up with strange, randoms online, or?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that's the only way I'm actually ever going, because Mayhem 6 and above, they actually give you better versions of what you already have, right? So if I was to improve at any point, I'd need to do Mayhem 6 and above now, and farm all the same, legendary build items I already have, which I'm tempted to do actually at some point. I might go, actually, that's a really good point. I need to make a note about that if I want to bother actually going to farm bloody Mayhem 6 bosses or not. Probably will.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a note.
But you're enjoying it then? Yeah, because I did it. I played through the cartel event once. I thought it was good. Thought it was fun. I like the aesthetic, like you say. I like the boss, but it's not enough for me. I don't care enough about legendaries to grind away at Borderlands 3 when I've got Red Dead 2 sitting there. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you had nothing else to do, you'd probably happily, put the time in.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The reward part of, like, I don't know if you have this, but like the only really thing you get out of farming these legendaries is sort of just having a good character. I don't really see any other benefit than that, right? It's just that you can continually do well. I think that's probably the reward of it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think you have any other reason for wanting to get improve on Borderlands at all.
You might be a collectionist, perhaps.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good idea. Yeah, collectionist is a good one.
So what else have you been playing, mate?
So I think I can't remember I think we talked about me possibly going on to Wolfenstein 2 last week.
Yes.
Well, I haven't done that.
Okay.
I got my fill of Wolfenstein for now with Old Blood. So I might come back to 2. I'll have to come back to 2 because I love the aesthetic of it. I love the story. I want to actually find out what happened in the story.
Yeah.
But for the moment, so I got Trials of Mana.
Yeah.
On the 24th, which is a Square Enix have been on this run of making remakes into like remastered versions or whatever, right?
Yeah, we talked about this last week.
Yeah, they did that with Trials of Mana, and I got it, and I finished it, and I platinumed it.
Big news, mate. This is big news.
God. Yeah, that's what I had to take a break after that. Kind of.
Yeah, because you were texting me. You were like, "Yeah, Nick, I'm thinking about starting Trials of Mana," and I was like, "Oh, cool." So, but you were freaking out because there was no guide, or there wasn't like a proper guide, or you didn't have a guide.
I didn't need to get worried about because actually I played the game and only followed a collectibles guide, and that was enough for me to know what to do. Weirdly,
amazing.
Like the game looks big from the outside, but it's actually very small. I'll explain why. Because my first playthrough, to be able to get all the trophies, you need to play through the game 3 times, and the reason for that is there's special bosses that only come up once because there's a choice of 6 characters to play from, and you can have 3 characters in one playthrough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's 3 pairs of 2 that you have to play with to be able to get a certain boss to appear at the end of the game.
Okay.
And you have to kill each of those bosses for a trophy, so you have to play the game at least 3 times.
So you have to play through the whole game with each pair?
Yeah.
Right.
And the third character can be anyone, right? Just as long as the first 2 characters are that pair that are tied to that boss.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did the first playthrough in 17 hours.
Okay.
Which was, really taking my time, watching all the cutscenes, getting all the collectibles, really taking my time to level up and make sure I was
Did you pretty much get every trophy apart from the boss one on this first playthrough?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I'd say the only trophies that were left were to finish off anything that was tied to the other characters, essentially.
Right, so basically you maxed all the characters you had and none of the others. Yeah, fine, that makes sense.
So yeah, I did the first playthrough 17 hours, and then after that I was like, I'm a bit tired from like having spent 17 hours doing that, but I'll continue. Like I think I started on the 24th and I finished on the 26th. It took me 2 days to do the first playthrough, and then I started the second one maybe on the evening of the 26th and the morning of the 27th, and I think I'd finished that by that night. I want to say the 27th night.
Yeah.
It took me like a day and a half. That was 11 and a half hours, I think. That was mainly just like skipping past bits I didn't really need to know about as much. And then the third one I did in, I think, 8 hours. Because I like really rushed through it. But still, because I did it on easy, it was just like all easy to do. So
fair. Well done, mate.
In the end, and I was just like so like afterwards. I was like, oh.
But I mean, look, none of them glitched out. They all popped.
It all popped. Yeah, it was all.
That's great. So by the third playthrough, you were pretty tired.
Yeah, but I don't know. I had this like anxiety almost of like just need to get it done.
Yeah. Cool. Well, mate, I'm glad you got it done. Like, not many people would do 3 playthroughs, you know. So that's some commitment.
Yeah, it was definitely a marathon.
And then, what else have you been playing, mate?
So Predator Hunting Grounds.
Whoa.
So that came out the same day as Trials, but I wasn't really interested in it. It looked a bit naff to me initially.
Sure.
I was like, it looks a bit.
Same here.
Looks almost like I don't know. It's kind of one of those games you look at and you think, oh, that game isn't going to be good.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be like you play one match and you're going to get bored type of situation.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing it pop up. Like the marketing team were obviously, full force at that point. They were like, right, we need to get the name of this game out there. We need to show people playing it and stuff like that on YouTube, right? So I was like, oh, I'm kind of like liking this now. So I decided to get it probably 2 days ago, 28th, 29th of the year.
Okay.
And it's actually not bad. I didn't get bored quickly.
Okay, but you are bored now.
Only because the difficulty. I'd say so. When I'm pretty sure it's either a matchmaking issue or just like a overall general skill level issue. Where I think when you're level, there's 100 levels, right? It's a multiplayer only game, so there's 100 levels, and each time you level up, you get a box that gives you like a loot box essentially that gives you 3, things that make your character look cool, right? Like a skin for a gun or like a skin for a weapon.
Yeah.
But there's also unlocks. So when you get to like level 20, you get like a certain gun that unlocks or a certain weapon that unlocks.
Yeah.
So and obviously the higher level you get, yeah, exactly. So you basically get better guns and better things to work with, right? Better skills, better perks. And so as I got higher in level, I started to get matchmaked with people who were also higher level.
Yeah.
Which meant they were harder to kill, both if you were the Predator and if you were the fire team, right?
Yeah.
Because you can play as the Predator in a 1v4 situation, or the fire team is a 4v1 situation.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, playing as the fire team is fun. It feels a lot like a Warzone type situation.
Yeah, well, because I guess Evolve was first person, but this is first person, isn't it?
It is first person, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw some gameplay and I thought the fire team looked really fun actually, because you kill gorillas, like as in anti-government gorillas.
Yeah.
Before the Predator comes on the scene, and I thought that looked really quite fun. How is the shooting? How does the shooting feel?
It actually feels really nice and not at the same time. It depends on the gun you're using, I'd say.
Okay.
So the idea, yeah, go on.
Go on. No, go on.
So the idea with the matches, when you're the fire team, you get given like 3 objectives to complete in 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you start off in this small, I say small, maybe like medium-sized area, like an enclosed part of this forest. Usually, there's like 3 or 4 different maps, and you have to do certain missions depending on what map you're on. But you get given like an objective. You've got to go to this base and find a passcode and set up these satellites and stuff like that, right? But all the while that's happening, you've got these very dumb AI to like distract you.
Yeah.
Which I think is deliberate. The AI isn't supposed to be very smart. They're just supposed to come along, shoot you, and then that's it, right? But they die really easily. I think that's meant for balancing, right? Because you've obviously got the Predator coming after you at the same time.
Yeah.
The Predator does die quite easily. And I think the one thing that's wrong with it at the minute is the balancing actually really on the Predator side. I think the Predator is actually a lot less powerful than he should be.
Yeah, from what the gameplay I saw, I thought the same thing.
It is early days, and I'm hoping that the team will. They were very quick about matchmaking hot fixes actually, because the matchmaking in the first 2 or 3 days was awful. Like you had to wait 15 minutes for a Predator game and probably like 5 minutes for a fire team game.
Which is similar to the issues they had with the last game, the Friday the 13th game.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. There you go.
Yeah, but which is also another 4v1 type thing.
Exactly, yeah. So now it's about 30 seconds for a fire team and about 5 or 6 minutes for a Predator, which is still a long time, but
yeah.
I think the Predator is like that because of how popular it is. Like it's a lot more fun playing as the Predator, I've found, than it is the fire team.
That's what I was going to ask you. Was that I guess there are people out there who are just constantly searching as the Predator.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that.
Right. Okay.
I'd say that there's definitely people out there who only play Fireteam though. Like you can tell, they've got they're already level 100. They've got the best stuff,
Oh my god! Really?
Well. Yeah, there's actually a few people who hit 100 within the first 24 hours. I want to say.
That's a bit worrying.
So I think the way the level up system works is the XP to go from level 1 to 2 is the same from 99 to 100. Like really? It doesn't get progressively harder, from what I've found.
Huh.
Like I level up. I'd say I don't know. It's
what level are you now?
34. Maybe.
That's pretty high. Yeah, fair.
I'd say you get on average between 2,000 and 8,000 XP a game, depending on how well you do. If you do really bad, 2,000. If you do average, 4 or 5. If you do really well, like if you get all the kills and you kill the predator in a certain way, you get about 8,000, right?
Yeah.
But they also have, if you got the deluxe edition, they gave you a 48-hour double XP thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing the people who pre-ordered have now abused that, and they've set up teams where they've probably got their mates to, matchmake.
Oh, sure.
And they're guaranteeing 8,000 XP a game, but because it's double XP, they're getting 16,000, which is like guaranteed 1 or 2 levels every game. So you've only got to play 50 games, and you're basically max level, right?
That's not fun to me though. But sure.
I think it's kind of good because you do get a lot of the best stuff near the end, although. I say near the end, you probably get a lot of the best stuff maybe in the middle. Actually, it's probably close to between level 45 and 65 is when you get all the best stuff.
But the process isn't that fun to me, Do you think these people can you get all this XP in private? Can you just get XP in private match?
No, I don't. I haven't tried it, but I don't think you can. I think that'd probably be too abusive.
And you can play with AIs as well, so you can be a predator against AIs.
Yeah, I actually want to try that because it seems more fun.
Are you
I much preferred the PvE of Evolve than I did the PvP.
Okay.
Just because it's, I guess, easier.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've played the Predator and died immediately. There's been times where I've played the Predator and I've killed their whole team within 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it can be really. It just depends entirely on the skill level of the opposite team. And
you can't judge that on ranks, I assume.
I mean, I don't think you can actually tell what someone's level is.
Oh.
Because I'm level 30 something, but I think I've definitely played with a Predator that's been level 60 something, or maybe higher.
Okay.
But the only way I could tell that is because he had a weapon that you couldn't unlock until you got to about that level. So
sure.
Yeah.
How is the matchmaking now?
Yeah, I'd say the matchmaking is fine. It's not awful. It was really bad when I probably started it 2 days ago. In terms of there was times where I couldn't get into a match after 10, 15 minutes. But I'd say I played it a little bit last night and this morning, and it's pretty consistent around the 5-6 minute mark. So for Predator anyway, but for Fireteam it's always within 30 seconds. It's super quick.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, got you.
Yeah.
So overall, do you like it?
So I looked at the reviews. I think they're all sort of in the middle. They're 4, 5s, and 6, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot wrong with it, and I'm hoping it'll just maybe the people who did Friday the 13th. They've put a lot of time and effort into making improvements on that game, so I'm hoping they'll put just as much improvement time into this one as well. There's definitely I've even been on forums the last couple of hours just to sort of check what the people are saying about it and what could be improved, and I agree with most of it. So I think a lot of it's just balancing issues, getting the Predator to be not too powerful but not too weak, and then the same with the Fireteam.
Yeah,
it ebbs and flows so much. So
yeah.
Do you
think you'll keep playing it?
I did. It's weird. I played probably 3 matches this morning, and I could tell I was starting to get a bit fatigued. I was like, oh, this is getting a bit sluggish now.
Yeah,
I'm still enjoying it. It's not the worst thing. I've been looking for that kind of game that I've been right, I just want to jump in for 10 minutes, play a match, and come off again kind of situation.
Yeah. And I think it's probably more fun with playing with people and stuff.
I will say the in-game currency to be able to get loot boxes is actually very generous.
Okay.
To be able to buy, so basically have a loot system in terms of grades. So you have uncommon, common, rare, really super rare, and then legendary or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So the legendaries in this game, the super legendaries cost 25,000 of this in-game currency, and there's usually one of those for every gun, mask for the Predator, or like a skin, right? Anything like that. There's like one of those for each, but there's like maybe 6 of the one below that. There's like 7 for the one below that, and then loads for under that, right? So you've got loads of the uncommon stuff, but less of the really rare stuff. The super rare one costs 25. The one below that costs 7.5, and then everything below that is somewhere around a couple thousand or a couple hundred, which is actually not bad. I've played. I've gone from level 1 to level 34, and I've got about almost 20,000 in-game currency.
Okay.
So I can buy 2 really rare things, or 1 super rare thing, or 20 not so rare things.
When you say buy, is it a gamble or is it a...
No, so what you can do is you can either buy the thing you want for a set amount, or you can gamble and buy a box for 500, which is nothing. At the minute I can buy like 30 boxes if I wanted to. So
sure, okay.
But right. I think the good thing about the loot boxes in this is, it depends on how you look at it, but you can't buy loot boxes with real money. You have to earn it within game, which I think is I think it actually might be the law now.
I think it might be.
I think in certain countries it is, but I think they're doing that because obviously they didn't want. It's sort of become a bad thing now, isn't it?
Well, to be fair, from what I can understand, it is gambling.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is like kids, Although I can't imagine kids playing Predator,
Yeah, no, for sure. But probably.
It's become a bit of a stigma now, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It seems to me like a game which has faults, but I think people will still enjoy. Especially
I'm going to enjoy watching it being improved. I think that's what I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, hopefully it will get improved.
I think I'll come back to it actually, and I'll sort of like how you are wanting to come back to Red Dead 2. Just wait for it to be fixed.
Yeah, exactly. Wait
it's
for
not
it to be. If it
broken. It just can be. It's early days, It feels like this game could have come out as a beta. Let's just say that.
Well, how did the balancing of the Predator not be one of the main things addressed before the game came out?
I think in their minds, they think it's balanced, right?
Is it just because we don't know how to use it yet?
I think a mixture of it is skill. Yeah, I think it might just be like lack of knowledge of how to do well, maybe.
Yeah.
The people who know how to play either the Sapphire team or the Predator well are fine. They're probably not too fussed about the balancing. But people who are a bit more casual probably are still, a little bit like, oh, I'm dying too much. But that might just be because they're not that good.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it could be that, So maybe they are balanced, and people are just annoyed that they're dying too much or whatever.
And the last thing I think we want to talk about that it's not we've been playing this, it's getting announced as we speak. A new Assassin's Creed game, Jay. Image got revealed yesterday.
We don't have to talk too much about this just because there isn't that much. Weirdly, actually, the trailer comes out today. It might already be out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we'll probably talk about that more in depth next week once we saw the trailer.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, there's a big presence of the Creed on this show, so we'll definitely have a discussion about it. What are your initial thoughts, Jay, on a Viking AC?
Very happy about it.
Yeah.
Although it kind of, I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not. It kind of, I can't imagine they would have. How long ago did God of War come out?
2018.
Okay. How long do you reckon this game's been in development?
Longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
All right, God of War got revealed 2016. So, you wouldn't make a game, though, just because there's another game like that that's been announced.
Right? No, plus back then you wouldn't have known that the popularity of God of War was so big.
No one, even huge fans, did not expect God of War to be like Game of the Year.
Exactly. Yeah. But it kind of looks like it's not. It's obviously not copy and pasting God of War, because God of War is from the source of the mythology of that, right?
Yes.
Of all the Norse mythology, which people have used in a lot of games.
Yeah.
Decades. So it's not copying. It's just taking inspiration from. But
I'm
hoping they'll make it their own. I'm hoping it'll be like really gritty and unique to AC. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think there is a great opportunity to make this the best Viking game ever made. That being said, there aren't that many, and also, I can already see how the Origins Odyssey mechanics are going to filtrate through this game. And I can already imagine the Viking ship you'll control, and
of course,
you know,
ships.
the raiding you'll do. There definitely has potential to be like the violent dark side of the Spartans, so to speak.
I kind of hope this is going to be like really gory.
I hope so, because you've got the Odyssey side, which is like clean Greece, and then the Vikings is the opposite of that. So there's definitely some potential there. From a personal point of view, though, I can't help but just not be interested in the game itself, because I know that I'm basically out of the Creed now. Like,
really?
Yeah, man. Like, Origins, while a great game, is not Assassin's Creed in my mind.
No, I still haven't finished it yet. I'm only like partway through. I've done the same thing with Origins like I did with Buddy Black Flag years ago, where I sort of got like 10% through and I was like, oh, I'm bored now.
Dude, the game is so big. It's so big, but it's not.
Big, yeah.
It's not substantial, really. So
I think for me, it's actually like the time that it's set in is important to me.
Yeah, of course.
Weirdly, although I used to be obsessed with Egyptian mythology, so
I still am.
Yeah, I still am, but I don't know why it's not affecting me now.
As a huge lover of Egyptian mythology, playing around Egypt in an Assassin's Creed game is an absolute dream come true.
It feels very Tomb Raider-y, doesn't it?
Yeah, but like, it is a third-person RPG action adventure, and in a way, they've perfected that formula. However, the side missions aren't as memorable as, say, Witcher 3 or God of War, so it's kind of just one of those things where it's massive. There's loads to do. It feels great. It's fun. The sandboxing is really, really good, but there's just nothing to. There's no emotional impact there. Right. I've heard Odyssey there is emotional impact, but what I'm saying is I don't want to jump into another 300-hour adventure, and if they keep putting out these games which are like 300 hours, I just can't keep up. And I don't care enough about the Creed anymore. Like, I don't know what the vision is. The present day story is a shambles now.
I was going to say, it's weird. Like, I'm very confused. Even though I've played everything up to Origins, I'm still confused about where the story is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of feels a little bit like a Final Fantasy story, where if you don't know anything about it, you don't know anything about it.
I think they were trying to do
you still don't know anything.
Yeah, I think they were trying to do a soft reboot of the present day story in Origins.
It kind of feels like it, yeah.
But
the new girl,
having completed,
it doesn't really feel like, yeah.
Well, yeah, having completed that game, I know there's room there, but it's still like Assassin's Creed has always done that thing where they give you just enough of the present day story to want to play the next game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but like the first game, you got like nothing, and then the second game was like, oh my god, thank you so much for giving us all this information. And then we had that again in Assassin's Creed 3. And ever since then, it's just kind of been like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's kind of been like, hang on, what? I mean,
exactly.
Like, the story from Assassin's 1 up until, I want to say maybe Syndicate.
Yeah.
Actually is probably my favourite part of the story. Like, it actually goes into the ancient civilization stuff.
Yes.
I imagine, from obviously don't say anything, but because I don't know yet, but I imagine Origins still continues with that, unless they've actually like rebooted it entirely. I don't know, but
no, it's not like it's no. It's more like here are some new characters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they kind of did that actually a little bit in Unity. Maybe they had that like Russian thing.
Yeah,
because obviously there's AC Russia and China and
so they did like AC Chronicles, which are like these 2D spin-off, 2.5D spin-off games set in China, Russia, and India. And while the locations, again, dream come true, not in that format. Like where is the Samurai Assassin's Creed game?
Dude, I was expecting it, honestly. If I was a gambling man, I would have said this next one would have been a samurai one.
Well, now I'm genuinely in my head. I'm thinking like, what can they do next?
Samurai is next one, isn't it? It is. It's the history of Japan. It's like Shogun.
Yeah, but again, you've now got Ghost of Tsushima coming out.
Exactly, which is partly why I don't think they're doing that next, because they want Ghost to come out, and then for Ghost to become old, and then
sure.
I reckon they've done this with Valhalla. Like, God of War is now what, 2 years old, so it's time for Vikings to come back again for a little while, right?
Maybe, but I think the Japan one, or Chinese one, will be the last one of the series. They'll end out on a bang.
Oh, you mean they're actually going to stop making Assassin's Creed?
I think they should.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. That's difficult for me to say, actually.
Well,
you know what? I genuinely think they peaked with Syndicate.
Interesting.
I think Syndicate is the peak, and I guess you could say that Origins and Odyssey is equally at the same peak, if not higher.
Yes.
But I don't know yet because I haven't got there.
Well, going from fan reaction or new love, Odyssey is definitely up there. Some people are saying it's their favourite Assassin's Creed, but again, if you like the original Assassin's Creed, I know there's a lot to like there, but I'm just saying that it's not what it was.
I guess you could say then 1 to Syndicate is the original Assassin's Creed.
Correct.
Everything from Origins above is now Assassin's Creed 2.0. It's different. It's
exactly. It's a new breed.
Because it has the loot system, right?
Yeah.
It's become more of an RPG than anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 1 to Syndicate is an Assassin's Creed game. Origins and above are Assassin's Creed RPGs.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jay, in my head, I'm still so confused as to how long and how what teams are actually working on these games. Like, how do you come out with Origins and then Odyssey the year after, and then you take a year break, and then you come out with I just don't know what the release schedule is and why it's so. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you not just make an Assassin's Creed every 2 years and make it like a really special occasion? Do you know what I mean? A bit like Halo.
I see. So you're saying it's less of a special thing because it's so frequent?
I am, and I'm also saying, are you sure that Origins is the best possible version of that game it can be? Are you giving it enough time and love and money?
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
I'm kind of glad that AC went the way it went, though.
Go on.
Because it's different, right? You don't want the same. I mean, it's like the COD kind of formula, right? Do you want the same thing over again, or do you want us to change it slightly to make it more appealing?
Sure.
But I'm kind of glad they did because I think it probably would have potentially got samey. Plus, they probably wanted to challenge themselves and try something different, right?
No, yeah, and creatively,
just for us, it's also for them as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they wanted to do something new.
Well, we'll see what Valhalla's like, but for the time being, Jay. Breaking news. No, I can't do that again. What?
What?
No, I'm trying to think of an intro now. I want to do a different intro every week for the news. Okay, I got one. Breaking news. You know what I mean?
Okay.
A little bit of a voice thing.
Oh god, yeah, okay.
I
think we'll just call that the cringe section. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you want to talk about a couple of news stories, Jay? They're pretty big.
Yeah, so I think last week it was mainly you with the news stories, but it's me this time.
Yeah, Jay, can we just dive straight into The Last of Us 2 spoilers because I've got a lot to say about this.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I know
Have you
how
read
much.
them?
No, that's the thing, right? So I've seen things, but I don't know what they mean. I haven't played the first one.
It sounds like you've read some bad stuff.
I haven't read anything. I've seen images that could have.
Yeah, that sounds really bad.
But because I'm not fussed about Last of Us, it doesn't affect me. Right?
Oh no, sure. But
I know you've got a very emotional connection to this game, so it affects you a hell of a lot more.
Correct.
I think for me, the interest comes from the reason why it was leaked in the first place.
Okay, go on then. So, Last of Us 2 Last of Us 2 spoilers were leaked.
Yeah. Pretty much the entire story essentially was leaked.
Are you serious?
Like pretty much the entire story. Yeah, I'd say like the ending.
Holy moly!
Like, most of it. Like it shows off
Oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, no, Jay, I can't. Like, this is it. Genuinely, I don't know what to say. This is absolutely gobsmacking, shocking, horrible. Like, you are talking about arguably the most anticipated game ever made, and I'm not exaggerating that.
Yeah.
People think The Last of Us is the best game ever made. Okay, quite a lot of people actually, and this is the sequel, arriving 7 years later.
It could potentially be Game of the Year, couldn't it?
Without question, Jay. Could be Game of the Generation. Okay, and
it could be Game of the. Well, I don't want to say Game of the Decade because it's obviously the first year of the decade.
That is true.
If this had come out July last year, it could have been Game of the Decade.
It's true, and it is my opinion, my personal opinion, from the very limited things I've seen, that I have absolute faith that this game is better than the first Last of Us, and that is really hard to beat. So the spoilers have been leaked, and yeah, again, off the bat, I can't believe this has happened. This is like...
I can believe it.
I mean, it's such
surprised. It doesn't seem like a very Naughty Dog thing to do.
Well, it's like... I just can't express... Like, of all the games to leak, this is possibly the worst one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, God of War 2 story leak, that would also be so bad from someone who loves the game's point of view, from a developer point of view. It's just... I can't believe this is out there. Me and my brother, we texted the other day and we're like, "El, listen... There are spoilers out there. You need to stop going on Facebook." Like, I'm not joking.
It's all over Twitter.
This is not a joke. Like, I'm not joking here. This is code red.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be on alert and lockdown because people have seen it. And I can tell you now, Jay, if I get this thing spoiled for me, I might actually cry.
I'm trying to think if I've had anything spoiled for me game-wise.
Before?
Yeah, I don't think I have.
Okay.
I think because we spoke about it before, how I like to even like jump ahead sometimes. If a game's been out for a month, then I just
don't you know
the end.
I was going to say you probably know like everything anyway.
What about Last of Us? The first one?
But like before you jump into a game. So
most of the time, not always. I do like a good amount of mystery.
Okay.
Right. Like I didn't with Final Fantasy VII. I mean, there's so much of it I would have already known because of the pre-existing story, but there is a lot that's different. So.
Oh, true. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. So do you want to just go into the article?
What, for the Last of Us 2 stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's coming out. What, the leak or the article in general?
The article.
IGN.
Okay. Who wrote it?
Joe Screbbles.
Joe Screbbles. Okay.
Yeah. So the game's coming out June 19th, I want to say. It's supposed to be coming out June 19th?
Yeah, release date literally announced the other day because it got delayed. That and Ghost of Tsushima, it's like, 19th of June and then 17th of July for Ghost of Tsushima or something like that.
So Naughty Dog actually released a message on their Twitter saying they know that the last few days have been difficult for people. They feel the same. It's disappointing to see a release of showing of pre-release footage from development. Do your best to avoid spoilers, and we ask that you don't spoil it for others. The Last of Us 2 Part 2 will be in your hands soon. No matter what you see and hear, the final experience will be worth it, right? So they basically want to reassure people that no matter what you see, it could be alluding to something that's completely different to how it actually finishes, or whatever.
Sure.
They basically want to say, look, we've made a good game. We've put a lot of time into it. Don't think that what you see is going to affect your gameplay or experience.
Yeah, don't write off the whole game. Yeah.
I want to say that the person who leaked it was someone from inside Naughty Dog.
So the rumor is an ex-employee, from what I know.
Is it ex-employee? Is it
sorry, no, you're right. Like an employee.
Oh, okay. But I don't think they know who it is.
No. I can safely say, Jay, that I don't think there is any excuse to do anything like this.
I think the only one you could potentially come up with is if the person who leaked it had been wronged by the company in any way.
Okay, right, and that's understandable. But for me,
that's still not an excuse. I know what you mean, but
like for me, it's like, okay, let's say they were wronged. Okay, like okay, fine. You need to take legal action. That is not good. It's morally wrong. It shouldn't be done again. However, you're not just jeopardizing the company, right? Which I think we can kind of move to one side. You're jeopardizing hundreds of people's years of work, and that, to me, is almost insurmountable in terms of why you would do this. You're not just talking about the creative director, you're talking about almost everyone on that team who, from what I can tell, the Naughty Dog team love what they work on, otherwise the games wouldn't be 10 out of 10s from what I can tell. So it's kind of like, why would you ruin that for so many people? Like, whoever did this is going to regret this for the rest of their life.
Well, that's if they get caught, yeah.
What if they get caught, yeah. It's just heartbreaking, mate. It's just so bad.
This game has affected a lot of people, whether it be for better or worse. But I'd say for the people who it's affected better, if they do end up seeing something and it ruins their experience, that's it then, and you can't take that back.
Exactly.
Thing, so,
and I thought we were moving out of this spoiler, culture, but especially with Avengers Endgame, which I thought personally was so minimal, considering it was the biggest film ever made.
To be honest, the spoilers that did come out for that weren't spoilers for a lot of comic book fans,
right?
Because they knew what was going to happen anyway.
I don't know if they did though, mate.
I did.
Okay.
To an extent. I mean, the spoilers for part 1, let's say.
Oh no, mate. Oh yeah, no. Part 1. I literally said before I went in, as someone who doesn't know the story, I was like, ever since they announced the film, I was like, the Avengers are going to get their ass kicked in that film. Like, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, but I think people, like, for the average viewer who cares about the films but not necessarily the comics, they'd want to have that, not spoiled for them. I guess there's a lot of those people, so
yeah, sure,
it would affect you that way. But I don't think they were actually as bad as what as they could have been.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it could have been so much worse. Like, I saw it and
really
thought,
bad.
Well, yeah, of course that happens. Like, that's what happens in the comics. So why are you complaining? Like, anyone who was a fan enough to actually just read the comic would have known it anyway.
Yeah.
They did change a lot, but they also didn't change a lot. So
yeah. So what are your thoughts on The Last of Us 2 spoilers, mate, being out there?
Well, as someone who's not too fussed about the initial game anyway,
yeah,
like, it doesn't really affect me that much. But in terms of it happening at all nowadays, and it makes me worried for future games. Like, I don't want if Cyberpunk got spoiled, I guess, but because we don't actually know
so much of that game, though. Like, there's so much. Like, how do you spoil that game? Do you release all 2,000 pages of the story?
It's difficult to spoil a game that's an original IP that's the first of its kind, right?
Yeah.
If it was a sequel to Cyberpunk, then yes, it would be spoilers because you already know the story, right?
Yeah.
Which is why Last of Us 2 is more impactful of it being leaked, because it's the second one. It's very anticipated. A lot of people have been looking forward to the continuation of an already beloved story, so it's more of a spoiler territory to be in.
Yeah.
I think Assassin's Creed have obviously had leaks before, haven't they?
Like every game, yeah.
Yeah, I think Valhalla is probably the first AC that hasn't had its name spoiled.
No, but it did get the whole like Viking era got leaked.
It did? Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it actually really bums me out because as a big Assassin's Creed fan, I would love for the trailer to be the reveal of like the era. But there we are.
Yeah.
But just to put it in, just a last comment to put it in perspective, Jay, I would rather, if I had to choose, I would rather pick The Last of Us Part 2 over Cyberpunk.
What, for your anticipated game?
For like a game that I had to play. Like, if you were like, gun to my head, you can only play one of them, it would be Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, for me it'd be Cyberpunk. I guess that's just personal preference though, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, you haven't played the first one, so...
Well, yeah, I guess, but I can already tell by the subject matter of what it is, right?
So sure. I'm just saying. All I was saying is like, if you played the first one, I feel like you could be a better place to definitely know which one you prefer.
Yeah, I guess, but I think I can. I mean, I know how what happens in the first one just because of what I've seen online enough of, right? I've watched enough videos to know. But I think me personally, just by how I think Cyberpunk's going to be and how I think,
and how much you love Cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think Blade Runner is like the perfect example, right? That's like one of my favorite films of all time, right?
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk is basically Blade Runner, the game.
Yeah.
It's just better in terms of that because it's more modern. You can actually like augment. It's a bit like Deus Ex as well because you can augment yourself, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's insane. Like for me, Cyberpunk is almost like how we spoke before about you in Red Dead, or me and you with becoming a Jedi in Star Wars. Like you get to live that life for a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think I'd want to live the life as the people in Last of Us. See what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I think by going by that, we'll go that. But yes, I can totally understand why you'd want to play Last of Us 2 over Cyberpunk. I can understand it, and I appreciate you for saying so.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I get it. I totally get it.
So, much more on your kind of game that you've played recently. Final Fantasy VII Remake could be more than a trilogy.
So there's actually two parts to this story.
Okay.
So yeah, the idea, this is IGN again, but this is by Matt Purslow this time.
Okay.
So the developers of Final Fantasy VII Remake have said that for them to be able to get this out quicker, they could potentially do it as more parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smaller versions of the full game, but just in more increments.
Yeah.
So instead of it being like 2 or 3 large parts, it'll be one large part and then maybe another 3 or 4 smaller parts to go, after it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people seem to be happy with, but a lot of other people don't seem to be happy with. I think it depends on, how frequently you want to play it, right, and how long you want the game to be. Like if it was up to me, I'd have this in 3 or 4 parts that were between 30 and 40 hours long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want. I don't think I'd want this in like 3 or 4 parts that were 20 hours long now, right? I want each one to be at least as long as this first one.
I was going to ask you, what is the optimum? Would you rather wait longer?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
The thing is, though, I think from what people have calculated, is that the end of the last part of this series could come out 8 years from now.
Oh God.
Yeah, in terms of time frames and how long it's taken to make the first one, if things go by schedule, if they did it in increments of how large this game is, the last one won't come out until between 2026 and 2028.
Oh my God.
So, we're either going to get the last game in 8 years from now or between 5 and 6 years from now.
5 and 6 years is not too bad.
Maybe even 4 years from now, we don't know.
What I was going to ask, I was literally thinking about this the other day, mate, right? I was thinking like, oh, okay, so like apparently the development was troubled, but at the end of the day, people seem really happy with the end result. My question is, how pressed were they to finish this first part? Like how much further are they into parts 2, 3, whatever? Right, like how far along in development are they? Because if they're basically starting from the ground, not from the ground, like they've got the character models and all that stuff. But like if they're basically starting the second one now, like you're talking at least 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years minimum if they've just started making the next one.
Yeah,
I reckon they're at least a year into development. They must be.
I hope so, and that's also assuming that it'll be as big as this one. So
the thing is, though, I kind of hope they aren't, because I kind of hope they've have only put their time into the first one. See what I mean?
At the expense of
I feel like if you'd had spread the development between making this first one and then the second one would be both the first and second one would be of lesser quality, right?
Well, no, because at some point you have to move on to the second one.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to move on to the second one once you've put all your dedication to the first one?
Well, no, because then the second one might suffer.
Yeah, but it should be the opposite, right? It should suffer less because you've now put all your attention onto the second one rather than just some of your attention.
No, because it might be the case that putting parts of the attention on both will mean better products overall.
What from how so?
So, for example, I don't know anything about game development, but it could be that you've got concept artists who are basically done on the first game. So it's like, well, it makes sense to start on the second game.
Yes. Okay, from that, yeah. In terms of like a pre-production perspective, you mean?
And even maybe some gameplay designers, like maybe it just makes more sense logistically to put a few gameplay designers on the second game rather than all on the first game. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
I know what you mean now. It makes sense actually. In terms of scheduling, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, like I know what you're saying. You're saying like let's make the first game as good as possible, which I completely agree with. Yeah. I'm just thinking for like it's confusing because we don't know what scheduling's like, but I'm sure that they have done what they needed to because the game's delivered, hasn't it?
Yeah, they probably got most of what they needed to do design wise probably about a year ago, right?
I hope so.
Whereas. And from that point, they could have already got started on concept art and maybe some models for the rest of the second part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from now. Right, so the second part of this story that I want to talk about is they also sort of added on the end of this, saying that the story from now on isn't going to be that much different from the original Final Fantasy VII because the first one was fairly drastically different.
Right, so because the first one was different, I would assume that would set up the rest of the games being different as well.
So what I'm about to say won't spoil anything, right? But
Jay, I don't know. You sound I'm hesitating.
I mean, you can cut it out if you want.
I don't know if I want to know, but okay, can you just phrase it in a really, really broad way?
Made it look like the rest of the story could potentially be either the same or different.
That's fine. That's great.
Or could be a mixture of both, right? It could be similar but still different, which is what the first one was. It was similar, but it wasn't exactly the same.
Okay, fine.
I think a lot of people, I've been watching a lot of videos of people debating sort of what the ending could have meant, right? What it could have meant for the next game.
Yeah.
And I think from that feedback, the developers have looked at it and gone, oh crap, people think it's going to be too different. We need to say it's not going to be that different.
I thought the general response was positive for the story being different.
I'd say it's a 50-50 split. I think some people are angry, stroke annoyed that it could be too different.
Okay.
Whereas some of the other fans are like, I'm glad with that it's at least somewhat different because I wouldn't want it to be exactly the same.
So, do you believe them when they say it will be the same?
Yes and no. I think it'll be this. So there's one thing I'm hoping it doesn't do, but I'm not going to say what that is, right? I'm hoping that what they've said means that what we're thinking they're going to do, they're not going to do, but I think they're still going to do
it. Sure, yeah.
That's literally all I can say. Like, there's one thing they could possibly do. If they do it, more people are probably going to be upset. But if they don't do it, people are not going to be upset. So I'm hoping they don't do it. That's what I'm going to say.
Do you think creatively, though, that they owe themselves to do it?
Yeah, it just depends on whether them then doing that would change too much, or if they're doing it just as like a side part of the original thing, right?
Sure.
I'm hoping if they do it, it just becomes quite a small aspect. And I'm hoping if they do that thing, it'll be from more of an emotional grab for the fans, because what part of that is more of an emotional part of the story.
Sure.
There's like a part that we didn't really get to experience too much in the first. The original game that came out 23 years ago, we got to experience some of it, but not enough of it, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're just building on that emotional part of it. I think that's all they want to do. They just want to broaden what we had hoped for in the game 23 years ago. I think that's what they want to do.
Okay, got it.
That really is like vague as hell.
No, I really appreciate it. I think you've done a fabulous job.
I know exactly what I'm talking about, but if you haven't, then you shouldn't have to worry.
No, you've done a fabulous job. So what are your thoughts on moving forward? Would you rather they just go with a different approach, or?
Honestly, I kind of wish they'd made the game a 1-to-1 ratio.
Really?
Exactly the same.
Oh, really?
Exactly the same. I'd say 99% of my opinion is it should have been exactly the same. 1% of me is being like exactly the same but slightly different.
But you seemed quite positive on the changes they made
I'm still very
and
happy
the expanded emphasis they had on each area.
It's just the ending made it seem like it could be like a completely different thing. I don't want that at all. I want it to be the same.
I'm with you. So that I think it sounds like they're just calming fans down to say, look,
we're not going to change it. Don't worry.
Yeah, like we're not redoing it here.
Yeah.
This isn't Final Fantasy, 7 brackets version 2. It's like this. We're just doing a little stuff differently. That's all.
I think that could be a lie, though.
Well, you think they will do a completely different game?
No, I think it'll be the same game, but I think that what we're hoping they're not gonna do, they're gonna do.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, I know that. I know they're gonna do it because they're gonna want to do that to be able to just sell it more.
Okay, got you. Well, so it'll sell more copies, even though it'll make people angry.
People will still play it. It's like for me, it's the same as the end game, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to see it because it's the ending of the entire Marvel universe, but I didn't want to see it because Captain Marvel was in it. That's not a lie. The thing is, even the same with Captain Marvel movie. I did not want to see that movie at all, but I had to for the story.
Oh, see, I didn't bother, mate. She was hardly in it.
You didn't really need to, but I had to just see. I had to find out.
I do not like her short haircut.
I fucking hate that character. I really do.
Honestly, what's Captain Marvel even about?
What?
What's Captain Marvel even about?
Well, you want me to go into it?
Nah, it's cool. It's cool.
So all I'm going to say on that is that I know that Captain Marvel is going to be probably the new Captain America, and that's going to bug the hell out of me. I'm not going to want to see those movies. Honestly, it's genuinely making my blood boil.
Do you know what's funny? I think there are people who organise the MCU who know that a lot of people don't want to see that.
Yeah,
but they've put themselves in that position.
The thing is, they think they don't want to see it because they hate women, but that's not why.
Yeah.
Character sucks. Character's not important whatsoever. They're trying to make her seem like this really powerful character, and yes, she is powerful, but they tried to make her seem like she is the guardian of the universe, like she is the end all be all of power. She's not. Yeah. She got given this power accidentally.
Jesus.
Oh, it's so stupid. They try to. Oh, honestly, I'm going to get annoyed if I even talk about it.
All right. Let's move on. Jack.
Yes, please.
One of the first segments we've done for this show. This is fun facts. Okay, so I was playing a lot of Red Dead 2, so I thought it might be a nice thing to go into some, online stuff and find some fun facts about Red Dead 2. So
yeah, I might do this for potentially Final Fantasy or something next week.
Yeah, man, I recommend it. Yeah. So I found quite a few that, were fun facts, but not really. Like, the guy who plays Arthur Morgan is Irish. Like, that's not...
That's interesting.
Yeah, but, all right, it is, but I already knew that, and I want something that actually surprised me.
Someone listening to this probably didn't.
True.
I didn't know it until I looked up just now. I feel like I should have known because I saw the interview with him, but I just didn't pay attention.
His accent is amazing.
Great, yeah.
So... the one fact that stood out to me about Red Dead 2 was in the development process, and they were making the trailers for the game. Every trailer had 70 drafts. before it was released.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So 70 different versions and edits before it was finally revealed, every trailer. So I think that just is an example of how dedicated Rockstar are to not only perfecting the game, but perfecting the marketing cycle to the game's release. Which they are.
You're going to have to do that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I just thought it was really impressive.
A very big part of making a game big is the making it as perfect as you possibly can. Thing is, though, there's games that can be super gritty but still be, the best of their kind.
Yeah,
where, no marking has gone to it whatsoever, but it's still big,
And looking on a screenshot of the first trailer is scenes or shots from different locales in Red Dead 2. And by the way, when I saw this in 2016, I was like, there is no way this game looks that good. And it does. And then it finishes with like a group of guys like riding their horses towards something, and you can like see no one's face. But now looking back on it, you can totally tell who everyone is from like their outfits and stuff, which is cool. But I just wanted to another last fact for you for Red Dead 2. The person who plays Jack Marston, as in the kid Jack Marston in the game, voiced by a woman, which is not that uncommon, as you know, Jay, because the person who voices exactly. So it helps with scheduling and stuff like that.
Prepubescent boys sound like fully grown women sometimes. They do. Like, there's so many girls who are in their like between 20s and 30 who sound like prepubescent boys.
It's true.
They just do. It's just like they're good at doing that high pitched, young boy thing.
It's true. All right. Next segment for the show, Jay, for the TGO show. Genre of games. So this isn't really genre, but I wanted to talk about it. We obviously have both finished Fallen Order now. I finished it like last week.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk a bit more about, I know we've touched on this before, but I want to talk a little bit more about the Star Wars games that we've played that have moved us, that we're really impressed by. So I'm just going to throw out a few, if that's okay with you, Jay.
Yeah, and I'll mention some as well.
The ones that immediately come to my mind, both of the Knights of the Old Republic games are just incredible. How we're so lucky to get them from such a talented studio, I don't know. Or studios, I should say. Republic Commando, severely underrated. First-person shooter, squad tactics. It's awesome. It's so awesome. It fills in some really cool gaps from episode 2 to 3, and I really love it. Obviously, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, almost like the perfect, what would you even call it? Like simulator battleground shooter? Like, it's just so fun. It's so
like
fun.
Just all the best battles from Star Wars and just making you be able to play them as a multiplayer.
Exactly.
Right? And like being either side. Yeah, it's very very good.
And these are the original, original Battlefront 1 and 2. They're just so good.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the newer ones. They are, and again, they're just an improvement on the old ones.
I think
they're good. I think they are. They remind me a lot.
They're good games. I'm not denying they're good games.
Yeah, they're good.
And then there's a couple of like odd ones that stand out for whatever reason. I've got a special history with The Force Unleashed, which I think is...
me too.
I don't think that game was what me and Jay expected, because I know that we were very following that game very into. I still remember, Jay, that magazine you had, which had like concept art of Vader overlooking Starkiller in like this incredible looking background.
I think I still have that somewhere.
Dude, the premise of the game is incredible, and I'm not saying that the game's bad, but I think me and Jay were expecting like the perfect Star Wars RPG, and it's not that.
No,
but
it's not.
It's a really cool game. And
I think it's because it came out. I think if you made Force Unleashed now, it'd be really, really good.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it would be more like Fallen Order.
I think. Yeah, the thing is, I think they need to not necessarily change Fallen Order, but make a separate Star Wars game that's more like Force Unleashed now.
We just need more single player Star Wars games. Like,
yeah, period. We do. We need more, but we need a Sith side.
Oh yeah.
I want to play the bad guy. I want that red lightsaber. Give me that red lightsaber. Just give it to me.
I was literally like, they better let me have a red lightsaber in Fallen Order.
I was pissed. I was so annoyed. I was like, why? I actually Googled into it, and I think there's like a whole thing about the developers being like, we didn't even want the character to even like be even close to any amount of Sith thing. And I was like, oh, that's so disappointing. You asshole! Why would you do that?
To be fair, the Force Unleashed does put you in those shoes for a few missions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the last game I think I'll mention Star Wars Knight Jedi Academy, and I think it's part of the Jedi Knight series, but it's just one that me and my brother got, and we really enjoyed it. So enough about me, Jay. What have you got for me?
So yeah, top of the list is Fallen Order and Force Unleashed, right? They are like, to me, like the best Star Wars games.
So let's just lay the groundwork now, Jay. Are we saying that Fallen Order is the best Star Wars game?
I think it is, yeah. Yeah. Honestly, okay, let's say this. For this generation, it's the best one.
I think without question, Jay, because the only other ones we've got are Battlefront games.
Exactly, right? Although, honestly, I'd make somewhat of an argument that Battlefront 2 has probably some of the best game modes of what you can do with certain characters in the story. Like, you can play as Count Dooku. Like, that, to me, one of the best things about Star Wars Battlefront 2.
100%, but you can play Count Dooku in Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, maybe.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, they've got this thing, they've got, like, heroes versus villains in Battlefront 2, right?
In the original?
No, in the latest ones.
Yeah, sure, but that was in the original as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's how do I say?
It's better. It looks better.
Plays better. You know, just overall improved version.
Sure.
Comparing that to, I think you can't really compare Battlefront 2 to Fallen Order because it's
okay. Well, how much?
It's multiplayer versus single player, right?
How much more did you enjoy your time more with Fallen Order than all the hours you spent with Battlefront 2?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's your answer.
Okay, that's Force Unleashed is the best previous generation
Star Wars
game, I'd say.
Which is a bit of a shame because, again, we didn't get that many. And, of course, we have the notorious cancellation of 1313 2 weeks before it comes out. We've also got the new... Oh, dude.
Don't get started on that, my guy.
And then there's rumours... I think I told you there was rumours that, like, when they were talking about Fallen Order, they were like, yeah, we really want a Bounty Hunter game. It's like, you mean the one you just cancelled? And...
You know, it'd be good if they did Mandalorian the game.
Well, oh, dude, Star Wars Bounty Hunter is awesome.
So hard.
And... what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah, and of course, possibly the worst cancellation of video game history is Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Oh, the old one?
3. Yeah. Like, dude, I've seen the leaked trailers for that game. That game looked a 10 out of 10.
I mean, they can still make it. I doubt they will.
Dude, I'm not joking here. That game was going to do the land to, like, ground battles. That is next level.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? Sorry. Yeah, so Fallen Order, you think, is Force Unleashed? No. Let me get my head straight here, Jay. Fallen Order, do I think that's the best Star Wars game ever made? I think it's up there.
Yeah.
I haven't had much time to reflect on it.
I'm guessing yours would probably be one of the Old Republic ones, wouldn't it?
I do think they are
better. Would you say Old Republic is the best Star Wars game of that generation?
So here's the thing, Jay. I grew up with KOTOR 2, so I have more nostalgia for the second game, and I actually think the second game is written better.
Okay.
So I think KOTOR 2 is probably my favourite Star Wars game.
Okay.
I think KOTOR 1 is probably argued as the best Star Wars game.
Yeah, makes sense. I know my dad's definitely probably going to agree with you there.
Okay, so what and Force Unleashed? You obviously did you like Force Unleashed too?
Yeah, I loved them both.
Oh, cool.
Completed them like 2 or 3 times each.
Cool.
Super fun. Super fan.
Did you finish it on the hardest difficulty?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, that's.
I want to say so.
Sorry, yeah. So I interrupted your flow. So, and what other games were you gonna?
So there's 2 Star Wars Starfighter and Star Wars Jedi Starfighter.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I think I played these on GameCube.
I think you'd be right there.
Because I think I still have it. Actually, I know I have them on PS4 as well, actually, because they came out in like a set that you could buy.
Yeah.
But I think I originally played I think it might have been Jedi Starfighter on GameCube. Actually, no, it might have been no, it was the first one, it was Starfighter. Yeah, Star Wars Starfighter, I think, came out on PS2, GameCube, and original Xbox. And I played that a lot. I don't know why. It's just
I played it a lot too.
Yeah, it was like surprisingly good. It does not hold up today, but back in the day, it was fun.
Dude, literally, I played the sequel because it was free on Xbox Live or something the other month, and I was like, this game is not good. But like you say, I literally played that game so much, and I've got no idea why.
Honestly, I'm looking at images of it now. It looks awful.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know why, but GameCube me was just like, this is cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that long ago. I must have played it, oh god, 10, 15 years ago maybe.
I mean, that's quite long ago.
Yeah, I mean, that is long ago, but in my mind, it's not that long ago.
I know.
Weirdly.
I know.
And the other one, which I still think they need to make into a game now, and if they don't, I'm going to be pissed, is Star Wars Racer Revenge.
Oh,
the pod racing.
Come on!
Now, my ultimate Star Wars game will consist of this and only this: pod racing.
Oh,
okay, yes. The day that is announced is the day I will finally be able to die happy. Okay.
Yeah.
I need this game, my guy. I'm not even joking. I've played Star Wars Racer Revenge recently, and I got quite a lot of the trophies on it, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Dude, they've got this on PlayStation with trophies.
Yeah, they've got the whole set. They've got Jedi Starfighter, they've got Racer Revenge, they've got a whole set with trophies. Yeah.
Oh no,
dude, they're fun. No. They're really fun.
Oh.
I played as Anakin from my first playthrough, and it's so fun. And dude, you can unlock more people to race with, like all the races from the original film. My guy.
Jay, I literally did. I'm not joking here. I did the exact same thing. I got all the medals for all the characters on the original game, including Sebulba.
Yeah,
got them all. Oh, dude, that is.
So what? This is my ultimate fantasy, right?
Okay.
You can either be let's just say this: you can be your own. You can do a character creation, make your own character, or they have a set character, like a new person who's like Anakin, but not really. He's like a kid, or maybe even an adult that it's like a bit like Cal. What's his name? Cal Kestis?
Cal Kestis, yeah.
So you've got this is all canon, by the way.
Okay.
So you've got a new Cal Kestis. It's not. Yeah. It might even be a girl, right? It might even be like a new girl who's canon, who's like a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
But she doesn't know she's a Jedi. She hasn't unlocked her powers yet, or whatever. She hasn't been trained or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So pod racing's still a thing, and you have to go through the game with maybe the start of the game is you have to literally scrounge scrapyards on planets to find the best parts of pod races that have been discarded over the years, and you build your own pod racer. That's the start of the game. You build your own one, and it costs you have to go out and do side missions to make the money to be able to buy the parts. And then once you finally do get this really rundown, crappy pod racer, you then have to play a mission in the story where you lose your first ever race, or maybe you even win your first ever race, and you become you now earn enough money to be able to upgrade it more and more, and it becomes like a pod racer RPG where you've got to be both outside of the pod racing on the planets and both inside of it to be able to become the end of the game is you're the champion pod racer now, but you're also a Jedi, and you end up fighting Sith at the end, and then maybe your enemy in the pod racing is also a Sith general. Or a Sith person, oh man, that'd just be so. Oh, and then maybe there's a mission where you're on a pod racer, but it's controlling itself with computers, and you have to fight with lightsabers on top of the pod racer, and you're crashing, and there's sparks flying everywhere. My guy, I've thought about this a lot. Okay.
That sounds like the perfect game, dude.
I know.
Yeah. Sounds like the perfect game.
It would be so good. I dream about this. Oh, I dream about it so much. Honestly,
I'm gonna have to go on PlayStation now and find out. See, this is the beauty, is that Xbox don't do this, where they have like they just port old games and add achievements.
I don't know if Xbox have it. It'd be good if they did, but I don't think they do.
If they do, it'll be on back. Like again, they don't have a cheat. Like the fact that it has trophies makes me want to play this game. That's the importance of trophies for me. You know what I'm saying? Another couple of games I forgot to mention. Lego Star Wars obviously is like classic.
Yeah, it's just playing the story of the film, isn't it? But with Lego, yeah, it's good. It's a good overall game.
And also, obviously, forgot Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader, the classic games. Jay, I'm looking at some of these covers, right, and it actually surprises me that KOTOR 1 and 2 had such incredible video game covers. Like
that's what actually impressed me a little bit of the new one of the Jedi Fallen Order cover. It reminded me a little bit of that.
Sure.
Like a lot of the Star Wars movie posters all have the same visual. Like they've all got characters with characters behind them, and they were like all in like a stance or whatever.
Yeah.
But they've done that with the new one, and I did that with the Old Republic, right?
Yeah,
they kind of had that movie poster look to it, where it had the characters all like in like a certain order with like lightsabers coming out and stuff like that. Yeah, it was all very original Star Wars. Whereas you look at like Force Unleashed, it's just him on the front with a lightsaber. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's just very plain Jane kind of whatever.
Plain Western Jane, and we will. I will forever give contempt to the boring video game covers we have. God, they're so bad.
Oh my god! I just found something.
Okay.
So that pod racer game I was talking about, Racer Revenge, was actually the sequel to Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, right?
Yeah, which by the way is more favourable generally to most people.
So I haven't played that one, but apparently the remaster has been delayed on PS4, and this article came out yesterday or 2 days ago.
Huh.
So it's been delayed until May 26th now. It's supposed to come out recently.
Huh.
So I might have to get that.
Yeah.
If it's any good, if it's like a really good remaster, I might have to get it.
Jay, any thoughts on the Old Republic, the MMORPG by BioWare? Which is still going, by the way, even though Disney now owns Star Wars.
So say it again, the
Old Republic.
Do you mean the game, or do you mean the?
Yeah. So there's 2 Knights of the Old Republic games, one made by BioWare and one made by Obsidian, and they're like RPGs. And then BioWare made the Old Republic, which is an MMORPG.
Right, yeah. I have played it. It's not bad.
Yeah, me too. I've also played it. I thought it would be a knockout park, but
that's the problem. No. MMORPGs can never ever. I've never played an MMORPG and been like, this is what I needed. They never ever fulfill me. They never ever give me the satisfaction of what I've got in my head. My imagination is so much better than what I've ever played. I still think that my imagination is better than Fallen Order.
Dude,
100%.
You're literally in my mind right now.
It's been the closest ever. In fact, Fallen Order has been the closest to what's been inside my head this entire time ever. It's been so close, but it's not quite there.
Oh,
it's so close.
But Jay, is anything going to match your mind, your imagination, your expectations?
Yeah, pod racer RPG. Let's go.
God.
You might even play as a Sith in that, and you might be the bad guy. I want a game where I'm the bad guy.
Have you ever played a game which genuinely hits or exceeds your imagination?
Oh, that is a really bloody good question.
Because I haven't.
Tell you what, Borderlands.
Okay.
Might actually be up there. Actually, Borderlands 3. The more I've played it, the more I love it. It's actually grown on me. When I first played it, I was a bit like, oh, okay. But then I think Borderlands 3 is actually the best Borderlands.
I've always said that since it released.
Better than 1. Although 1 has a nostalgia factor for me, so it's slightly different.
2 has Handsome Jack.
I would actually say that pre-sequel is better than 2.
Jay, you are out of your mind.
But only because I enjoyed it more.
You are out of your mind.
I feel like 2 has better bosses, but pre-sequel was just pre-sequel might as well have been called Borderlands 2 version. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might as well have been 2.5.
So yeah, I think people see Borderlands the pre-sequel more as Borderlands 1.8.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the general. Look, Jay, when crossplay comes out or whatever, okay, or whatever, like I'm just saying, if we ever get the chance to play Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel together, I'm telling you now, you will definitely know that Borderlands 2 is better.
I think for me, it actually might have been because I couldn't do well on Borderlands 2.
How come? Oh, because you were Zero?
I always felt underpowered.
Were you Zero?
No, I've played as all the characters.
Oh, okay.
But the only game I've ever felt powerful in a Borderlands game is 1 and 3. 2 and pre-sequel, I've never felt very powerful. I've always felt underpowered. I've always felt like,
dude, I literally completely agree.
Well?
I got to my third New Game Plus, if you will, of Borderlands 2 on the Handsome Jack collection, and I can't play it, mate. I can't play it. I die.
I walk up to a boss and I'm instantly dead.
Yeah.
I thought
it was my character build, right? And my mates were like, "Oh, you've got the wrong character. You got the wrong character." I was like, "Oh, I've got the wrong character build." I was like,
"Okay." Be an excuse. Any character should be good enough.
Exactly. The game should be designed that I can play it. Oh God.
3 feels like I could walk into any boss room with any character, with any build, and still feel capable of being able to defeat it.
Exactly. And Borderlands 2, again, my mates are like, "Oh no, you got the wrong build," and then I respect it, and I still couldn't do it. So please, but dude, I completely agree. Like Borderlands 2 for me is broken in that respect. Like I can't play it anymore, and I wanted to, but I can't because I die. I'm so glad you said that, mate, because I thought I was alone there. But
what about Borderlands? Or
being underpowered. I thought that was just me.
It honestly ruined 2 for me. Genuinely ruined it for me.
So you're not saying it from a story gameplay. You're saying kind of from gameplay. You're saying it from a difficulty point of view.
Yeah, I'd say in Borderlands you kind of want to feel coddled a little bit, right? You want to feel
you want to get rewarded,
carried through it. You kind of want to feel like a mixture between I've done this myself, but the game has let me get there, right?
Exactly.
Which is what 3 literally is, the epitome of that. It's a game that lets you get there by yourself, but has given it to you, kind of. Like if you feel rewarded, but you also feel like the game's let you get there, but not at the same time. It's all like a good balance.
It gives you everything you need, and it just gives you a little push and says, "You can do it. Go on." And then you do it, and then you think, "Oh, I've done that all by myself."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well put, Jay. Well put.
Yeah.
Well put. Okay. Well, that's some really great Star Wars games that I'm now going to buy on my PS4. Thank you for that, Jay. I'm almost definitely going to buy that Racer Revenge now on PS4. Next up on the TGO show, we've got debate. Now, we've only had one debate before this, which is the Final Fantasy XIII. And I say debate, we both just stated that it's a fantastic game and you should fight us.
And that we kind of agreed that, the overall audience perspective is that it's not great or whatever.
Correct. Right? Yeah, correct.
But I disagree.
So this, I have no idea where you're going to stand on this, Jay, which is
where does this come from? I'm glad you brought this up, to be honest.
I've been thinking about this since the Xbox One generation now. So
honestly, I've thought about it maybe the last year and a half.
Okay, interesting.
Not that long.
Since playing, I know this is a weird game. Okay, to talk about this.
I have no idea what you're going to say.
Since playing Titanfall, I have been overwhelmed with how. So first of all, the backgrounds in Titanfall are extraordinary because they look like they're actually made and put in the map rather than just like a picture.
Hang on, say that again one more time.
The background for Titanfall maps, they've got ships and things and planets that look actually made and in the map rather than just a picture.
Rather than just a picture, yeah, which is the difference between that and Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy does that a lot where they'll put a picture up.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what impressed me. But getting to the point, actually, no, I'm going to lead up to it. I'm going to self-indulge a little here. Ever since then, so that was 2014, 2015, I've been noticing that as the older I get, the more I want to appreciate the very, very small, the tiniest things in games.
Yeah, me too.
So it will be how Aloy's hair moves on her head as I'm running. It'll be how the lightsaber glows in the dark on Fallen Order.
Yeah.
It will be how your character stands for Final Fantasy 15, because I've heard the standing animations in that are incredible. Not joking there.
Yes, it's a very pretty game.
Yes, absolutely. How Final Fantasy 13 holds up, how Red Dead 2
does,
looks like real, like it looks
real life,
unbelievable. Okay.
I mean, even from what I've seen of Last of Us, again, it looks like...
Oh, dude.
Wait,
what, 2 or 1?
Impressive. Both.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
Like, the graphics in that they are like, you know that Naughty Dog is going to exceed expectations when it comes to graphics. Like, they're unreal when it comes to that.
I know. So, my question is, Jay, are games too pretty?
Yeah, I like this question a lot.
Specifically, are they too pretty for their own good? Now, first thing I'm going to analyze is that, of course, it depends on the player. You know, you might not care at all about the backgrounds of a game, and I do. Fine, whatever. We're moving past the player point of view. I'm saying, from me and you having a discussion from our similar perspective, do you ever play a game which is so pretty you can't play it because you wanna enjoy how the water flows on the lake? You want to enjoy the sunset in Red Dead 2. There's just so much to admire about the way the game looks and perhaps sounds, right? That you don't want to. You either don't want to play the game for like a few seconds, or even when you are playing through the game, you feel like you're rushing it because you can't stop and look at every single detail because you want to.
Yeah, so I think I can probably really... Death Stranding is a little bit like that.
Have you played Death Stranding?
I have it. I haven't finished it. I've like literally just touched it. But
okay,
from what Hideo has said about that, I think his idea with that game was it's supposed to be played like a normal game for the average gamer. But he actually makes trailers in game like how he used to with Halo.
Yeah.
Like he makes the game trailers with the game. He does it all himself, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the way he plays that game is he literally just sits in it. He bees that character in that game. Like he kind of just admires the rain, the snow, the water, like the movement, just the way that it almost kind of feels like nature.
Yeah.
Like he's programmed. He's basically like developers of games are almost like gods, aren't they? Right?
Sure.
Like when it comes to like if you make a game so real that you can literally live in that world. Like I guess you can compare it to games like Second Life or World of Warcraft or anything where you can literally like you can live another life. You can just sit and experience something so close to nature. You might as well be in it.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. I'm just trying to think. Like the games that I've felt like that, I guess, are Death Stranding. I know there has been some. I'm just trying to think like exactly.
What?
I think it changes because I think you can only really say that about games that have come out in the last maybe 3 years.
Because they're so graphically up to date.
Just because the graphics are there. Final Fantasy 15 is probably... Final Fantasy 7 and 15 are character-wise, I'd say they're probably the closest to human skin.
Sure.
And like features and hair and everything. Again, along with Last of Us, that was another one.
I know 7 looks stupidly good, but 15 must have held up extremely well.
Oh yeah, way too well.
Yeah,
like it's right up there. In terms of actually landscapes and the world and how it looks, I'd say Last of Us is actually up there.
Okay.
From what I've seen, even of stuff from 2, like some of the trailer stuff. Like I think I haven't been impressed with that much landscape-wise, like architecture and stuff, like world, like the way that grass looks, or the way that a mountain looks in the distance, or even up close. So it's very difficult to get textures good in most games nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I think 15 actually does a really good job at textures. 7 does a great job at textures. Anything by Square Enix now is texture-wise brilliant.
Yeah, agreed. So you also feel this then?
I don't know if they're too. I'm trying to think where I would have the opinion of a game being too pretty. So when you say too pretty, you mean like you don't want to play it because you just want to experience the world that it is for itself, right?
Yeah.
I guess you could say that about Journey.
Right.
I'd say that's probably one, just because I didn't really want to progress. I just wanted to sort of just see. Like if I walked in the opposite direction, how far could I go?
Yeah.
Like what's over there? Is there another town? Is there somewhere that I'm not supposed to go? Like, I guess you can get it from that perspective. But is that a problem or is that not a problem? Is that what you're trying to like?
Oh, that is the question. Is it a problem? Ultimately the problem probably lies with the player, but I am wondering, is it a problem? Because
are you saying that it could hinder the experience of the game? Or does it improve the experience of the game?
I'm saying that it will inevitably improve it, but I am saying that there is a sense of guilt I get by playing through a game quickly that looks that good. Because I feel like I'm just not... Even if I 100% it, mate, like... I feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake might be one of those games where, like, it's obviously...
I felt a bit bad about going through it so quickly, actually.
Yeah, because it's just so pretty.
The thing is, it's not like... There's not too much of a distance you can go. Like, there isn't like a massive open bit where you can go and see things. It's very linear.
Sure.
Yeah, there isn't... I mean, you could literally walk around every inch of that game and appreciate every second of it. Like, there's not... You could go through that game quickly and still feel like you've seen everything.
Sure.
I'm trying to think if there's a game that I've played where I felt like I hadn't seen everything and I felt bad about not seeing everything. I don't know. It's difficult to say because you obviously haven't seen it, so you don't miss what you haven't experienced, right?
True.
So it's hard to say exactly. I guess actually Fallout is one for me.
Oh, great. Okay, go on.
And Skyrim as well. Any game that has a map that's so big that even if you've played the game for years, you still haven't been everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I have not been everywhere in Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Not even close. I've probably been to 60+% of the map.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of buildings that I haven't even known that you could go in. And there's a basement and you can go to the roof. I didn't know you could do that. Like I'm sure there's so many places I haven't been in any of those games. Yeah, I'd say Fallout is probably the one that's like that. But that's not like necessarily because it's pretty.
But you're lost in the world.
You are lost in it, yeah. I guess, yeah. I think.
Yeah, so I guess that's. I would argue that's too much content over too pretty, perhaps.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, so it's like a content level versus quality of it as well, right? So
yeah, so like for example, replaying the story missions of Red Dead 2, I have no problem with that because I know that there was things I probably didn't notice the first time through. And like, because there's certain, like, dude, I'm not joking here. Like, certain characters doing certain things, or how the things they say. There's dialogue options on your ride towards, like, to the mission. So all of those things mean that I will absolutely replay it because there's so much I didn't notice before. Part of that is how the game looks, the way shadows reflect, the way lights reflect, all that stuff.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean now. Yeah, so I guess my answer to the question is I don't know. They're not too. If anything, I want more.
More pretty.
I want more minuscule details that mean nothing to some people but mean everything to others. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Like not even from from both a game that has pre-existing lore and from a game that has lore but you don't know about it yet because it's the first in its iteration. But to me, this question can be perfect to talk about with Cyberpunk again, right? We have no idea how big that game's going to be. Not really. I mean, we do and we don't. It's going to be the size of Witcher, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, actually, I can kind of compare this again with like any game that you think is going to be big when you first see it, but once you get used to it, it's tiny.
Sure.
Do you feel that way about some games? Like, there's some games that are so big, but once you actually have been everywhere, or maybe once you've been to enough places, you think, oh, it's actually kind of a small place to be.
Dude, I totally get that. I think that is when you have diagnosed most of the information the game has for you, so that you can actually wrap your head around the different locations, the different characters. Once you've processed all of the characters of The Witcher 3 and the locations, it feels a smaller place. And you can really see everything. I totally get that.
So I guess you could say, do we want enough content to be able to have experienced everything? Or do we want too much content so we can keep coming back and experiencing new things again and again? And I think I'd much rather have the second one. I want there to be so much that I can come back to a game 10, 20 years later and find new things.
I don't know if you do, though, because wouldn't you then get like the anxiety from not being able to finish it?
No. The anxiety comes from not being able to finish just the story in general.
Okay.
Not seeing everything. Look, I'm sure there's so much I haven't seen in games that I've completed before.
Sure.
I'm not worried about having missed them.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful, if anything, that if I do ever come back to it, I can see something new. It's almost like reading a book for the first time again, right? Or like seeing a movie for the first time again. Like for me, I very rarely watch movies, within a year of seeing it again, because I want to be able to come back to it fresh. I want to come back to being like, oh, I missed that last time. Oh, I didn't realize this. Like, I love that experience. So if I can get that in a game, the more the merrier.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. When I went back to Skyrim, obviously I was playing new content I hadn't played before, but it felt like I was treading on new ground in the main game, and I was like, dude, this game is unbelievable. Like you say, you can not play it for 10 years, come back to it and find new stuff. It's just incredible.
The thing is, though, that obviously takes time for developers to be able to make that amount of content, but
of course.
Yeah, and there's I guess
the thing, mate. Here's the thing, like I've never known how Bethesda have made so much engaging content in their games.
That's the thing. I think it seems like a lot, but again, like once you've diagnosed everything, it kind of feels like not that much.
Sure.
But yeah. If anything, it's just more of a bonus. Like you don't expect to ever have that. But if you do ever have that experience, you're like, oh, okay, that was nice. I'd like that again, please.
Yeah.
You would never expect too much from a game, ever. I think I've learned, that's one of the biggest things I've learned maybe over the last 10 plus years of gaming. It's just like, don't ever expect anything, because it comes back to my imagination. My imagination is always going to be better than what. I can't actually say always, because I guess I can say with Final Fantasy that game exceeded my expectations.
Well, I think you can say that lower your expectations, but don't stop imagining or having.
Because you can always be hopeful for what you want to happen, but if it doesn't happen, don't be disappointed, because obviously you didn't make it, so you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%, and yeah. I think that's good. Well, yeah, I'd love for people to write in at contact@thegameopinion.co.uk with their thoughts and impressions on whether they've had similar experiences to us in regards to whether games are too pretty or not. I'd love to hear, people's thoughts. So moving, Jay, on to my favourite segment of the TGO show. Are you ready, Jay? Are you ready?
I'm never ready.
It's time for History Dip.
Wow.
This one's really good. This week's is great. Do you want to? I want to lead. I think this is your spotlight moment, so to speak, Jay.
I mean, it is and it isn't. Weirdly, I feel like you know more about this than I do, but I don't know.
You would be incorrect.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Well, I think you deserve the start, because you had the 360 first. You had this game way before me, and I think you've probably got more history with it than I do.
I mean, I guess. I mean, there's not a lot I can actually remember about the story.
Oh, dude, I literally don't even know.
Yeah, in terms of just like the overall experience of it, Fantasy Star Universe was a game that came out on 360 in 2006. So was that a year after the 360 came out? Came out in 2005?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of like, I guess, one of my early introductions into RPGs, and like understanding how how loot or like weapons worked and how like upgrading weapons in games worked. That was definitely like a big aspect of this, and like collecting things and finding collectibles and stuff. That was like a good introduction to it all. Yeah, it's really like hard to like express my opinion on this. It's just like it was good for the time, but I don't think it holds up as much now. Even though they've just released the online version of it, right? Which I think, because it's definitely not a new looking game. It's definitely an old looking game. But it's still, I don't know. It's just great. I think it's more of a nostalgic thing for me.
Sure. Yeah, to be fair, I think the full title is Phantasy Star Universe Online, isn't it? On the 360. So
I don't know,
think
actually. Hang on, let me look at the series.
Well, I think this game is definitely. I consider this game the launch game, or at least the game we had when we first got a 360 that we played the most.
That's true. That's true.
So I think that's the special place that this game has. Again, I don't remember the story either, but what I can tell you is that I think we both had the guide, or I know I had the guide, and I think that it started out as a difficult game, but like you say, you started grinding and getting better weapons and leveling up your characters, and the gameplay was really limited, but it was just that sense of next gen that was so incredible at the time of playing it. Like, I remember the locations looking incredible, and it doesn't hold up now, and the acting is not good. But at the time, it was just so awesome to be so involved in that game with you, chatting about stuff, chatting about collectibles, and I think we just had a great time with it. To be honest, I think it's a game which I would love to play with you for an hour. I think it's a game which I would hate to play with anyone for 10 hours today.
I see. Yeah. If anything, it's actually kind of comparable to Final Fantasy 13 in terms of how it looks.
Sure. It's got, actually, it's Japanese made, right?
It's probably closer to 12, actually. It's like very close to how 12 looks.
And it was the achievements were notable because they were all related to just most of them were related to defeating bosses in story chapters, so they were quite easy, quotation marks. I never finished the game. I don't know about you, Jay, but I don't think I ever finished it.
I think I came like really close. I think I actually came back to it in 2013. I think it might be the last time I played it.
Really?
Yeah. I want to say I came back.
Do you know?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I have to check that.
Look it up.
Yeah, I seem to remember coming back to it in 2013 and be like, I never finished this game, I might as well finish it now, but then didn't ever finish it.
Did you get bored, I assume?
Yeah, it's taken me a while to like get into the mood of actually like finishing a game.
Sure.
Like properly finishing one. Yeah, I think I've always had a bit of a thing with this game. It's always sort of eluded me a little bit, but never enough for me to be like, I'm actually fussed about coming back to playing it again.
Yeah, 100%. There was also an online element which we actually never truly got involved with, even though we could have, because that was still, for me at least, the time where we weren't sure how online worked and how easy it was at the time. Because PS2 wasn't that easy, but 360, again, revolutionized online play. Like, everyone had Xbox Live by the time of the 360 and Call of Duty 4. So there was an online element to this game which we never, I think, divulged into, which would have been cool. But I think it's kind of one of those games which is best left to the nostalgia, sadly.
Yeah,
though I had a great time with it.
At this point, I can't really see myself playing it again. It's just not as good as more modern things, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was a good stepping stone, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
A good start into that world, definitely for me. It sort of hit me right at that age where I was like, oh, I can actually probably get into this world now a bit more.
100%.
Because before this, I'd played 7, but it never really like stuck. It never really like properly made me feel anything too much. I think this is the one that made me feel like, oh, I can actually like enjoy this kind of game.
It again, yeah, it was, at the time it was pretty awesome. And definitely one of the most notable kind of Xbox 360 games for the first couple of years, at least for us. Jay, we're now moving to the end of the show. What will you be playing this week, next week, forever, once more? Onto the breach, dear friend.
Honestly, I kind of feel like Predator's going to take a bit more of a backseat now.
Sure.
I do want to get a slightly higher level because there's a lot of things that are still locked behind levels that I would feel like would probably make the game feel a bit more in favor of the Predator. I feel the middle, like levels 20 to 30, seem a bit naff for the Predator. Seems a bit a bit underpowered. Like I just die too quick, or
sure.
Or that there's a bit where if you play the fire team for long enough, you can get pretty powerful very quickly at the early game. So I kind of want to get past that barrier, but it's a bit sluggish trying to get past that barrier at the minute. And with the time frame of only till June, we've got like a month to be able to get these cartel weapons.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get I've been farming them this morning, and I think I only got. I don't think I even got one new one. I've only had 2 of the legendaries drop out of the 6 or 7 you can get, and I've done cartel 4 or 5 times. So I'm kind of like worried now that I'm not really going to get one.
Yeah,
I've got a month to do it, so I need to. I think it'll be BL3 main, and then if I really feel like it, if I really get in the mood, I'll do Wolfenstein 2. I really. From what I've seen of like trailers and story and stuff, I'm so invested in how that'll play out. I really want to see how they're going to finish it. I just really want to know how.
I think you should.
Does it end? Is there? I don't want you to like necessarily tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me if is there possibility for another Wolfenstein game? Like I know there's Youngblood, right? But does that come into it, or is that?
Yeah, that comes into it. Yeah.
Oh, that's disappointing. I don't know if I'm going to play that. Is Youngblood co-op only?
No.
Oh, okay. If Wolfenstein 2 story is good enough and Youngblood does actually come into it enough, I'm tempted to have a look and see if that's worthy of getting or not. But
I don't think it does.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't. I don't want to say. I don't want to say what if you don't know the premise of Youngblood, I don't want to tell you. No, but I don't think it will impact that much of a potential Wolfenstein 3.
So does Wolfenstein 2, is that like an end to that BJ essentially? Like does it sort of like tie up his part of the storyline?
Difficult to say.
Okay, so there's a chance that he could come back. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So
there's a possibility that he could be in a Wolfenstein 3.
Yes.
Okay, that's actually all I needed to know.
I think you should play Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll get around to it. I need to get bored of Borderlands 3 first.
I think that if you're not feeling anything, you should also, respond to that. But if you are going to play Wolfenstein 2 and you're feeling it, I would definitely go for it. You have my letter of recommendation. I
feel like Borderlands 3 and Predator are a good, like a cleansing of the palette, as it were.
Sure.
They're sort of, multiplayer and grinding is like a good sort of palette cleanser when it comes to like a single player co-op. It's just a single player campaign. Like knowing that I'll have to put a lot of effort in mentally of being able to having to kill enemies along the way and get collectibles and stuff. It takes a lot of mental brain power for me. So.
It's so interesting that you put that as a palette cleanser because I actually completely understand what you mean. Like you just need some good looking dumb fun to just kind of reset you for the next adventure.
Yeah, I need to forget about Trials of Mana, forget about Final Fantasy, and let my brain just want to get back into Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
and it usually does it by itself. So I might even be playing it in the next 2 or 3 days. I'll see how I feel.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
And I'm guessing you'll just be continuing Red Dead.
Yeah. As we talk about it, go on.
Are you going to finish it in the next week? Like by next week, will you have Red Dead finished? Do you want to have it finished? Do you want to spend the next 2 weeks on this, a month on this? Like when do you have like an end goal? Do you have like an end? Like, is there a date where you're like, I don't want to be playing it after this date?
It changes all the time.
Or is it like a mood? It's a mood-based thing, right?
It is a mood-based thing, but talking to you now, I really can't be bothered.
Yeah, I know you're going to say that. It just, I know exactly how you feel.
But like, I've already come so far. I've already come so far.
Right, you're like so close. You can see the finish line. You can see it. You can taste it.
Yeah.
It's just that your mind is your mind and your skill level is sort of holding you back from ever getting there.
and luck. Yeah.
Yeah, and luck. Yeah, a lot of it is luck, I'd say.
I think if I'm gonna do it, I would rather just play it for 12 hours a day and get it done. So, depending on how I feel, I really, really wouldn't want anything to do with Red Dead by June.
Okay. Is it because something else is coming out, or
Last of Us Part 2?
Okay, there we go. So June 19th is your end goal, really, isn't it? We'll say.
Yeah, like I really don't.
Maybe you might even want to have it finished, but way before that, because again, you want to have that cleansing of being like, right, I need to forget about my old adventure and just get into this new one. Yeah.
Exactly. And to be fair, it might be a case where I've just got to play it when I want to play it, because if not, I'm not going to enjoy myself. So yeah, but like it's kind of it's a weird thing, mate, because like I kind of don't want to play it, but then if everyone else is online, I will definitely play it because I like playing online with my mates.
Yeah, the incentive's there when there's other people, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you know you're up against time at that point. Like you're not ever going to be able to get that opportunity again.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to take the opportunity as it comes. Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, well, all the chores are done. So what do I do now? Like, do I watch TV? Do I like? It's kind of a, it's an option, isn't it?
So, I'm tempted to do that right now. There's a few TV shows on Netflix I need to watch, and I'm tempted just to get those out of the way just so I can like have a bit of a break from gaming in general. But I just want to play Borderlands at the minute, so I think I'll stick with that until I might even just stick with Borderlands until I get these legendaries, and then just like watch some TV shows and then go Wolfenstein.
Do you think this is like a slight addiction on our part because we sound like we're not having a great time with it?
No, it's weird. We do sound kind of miserable, don't we?
But like we kind of want to play
all this work trying to get this done. Weirdly, I would want nothing else. Like it's kind of like misery. It's pleasure through pain, almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's that want, that painful want of being able to get something like that completionist in you, just wanting to be able to get things done. But you have to experience enough terrible things through that to be able to appreciate the end of having the nicety of it at the end, right?
True. I think some people would argue that we shouldn't be playing any games that make us feel like this. I think would be their argument.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah,
For example, I don't think Fallen Order for me, even with the collectible mop-ups, it never got this tedious.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Like we were never like I think we probably enjoyed almost every second of that game.
Yeah, I think once the game starts to get tedious is when you should probably stop playing it.
But
unless you're like so close that you kind of have to just keep going at that point. Like you're too far. Like you're beyond the point of any return.
I really am. I am.
Yeah, at this point, if you gave up, you'd feel worse for yourself if you gave up now.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have fun farming legendaries, mate. I will have no fun playing. No, I'll let you know how it goes. Anyways, anything else you want to talk about, mate, before we close the show?
No, I think that's it. I think. I think I'm kind of just happy with the amount of gaming news that's coming out at the minute. Honestly, like I thought that it would all sort of dry up, but it's not. It's still going because people have to make money and people have to be entertained. I think it's actually I'm very impressed with the amount of content that's being produced right now, just online in general.
Not just gaming, or
not just gaming, just in general. Like people are like really getting involved with like even celebrities are sort of getting involved with making content, just for people in general.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think there's an element of that. I think there are some people out there who just can't stop. So,
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with how all the gaming journalists have still managed to work from home and still make the same amount of content, and weirdly to like the same quality. Like they have all these studios they go to and like work from these really nice backdrops, but I'm equally as impressed and like fulfilled with them doing it with their shoddy camera in their house on their like webcam or whatever, right?
It's an unidentified point which a lot of people don't talk about, but there is a cusp of quality over substance.
Yeah.
And I think I would rather listen to Jordan Peterson through a bad microphone than listen to Logan Paul through the best microphone on the planet, if that makes any sense.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There's quality over quantity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you say, like I think that's partly why I think it's absolutely worth us doing this podcast, because it doesn't get 50,000 listeners, but it's so good to us and our